highlight of Buddha's birthday is the Lotus Lantern Festival, an intangible cultural heritage and more than just an event for Buddhists. A place to pray and find tranquility, a cultural asset for many to enjoy. Buddhist temples are popular destinations for visitors and foreigners alike. Find out why. Exhibitions themed on Buddhism, but open to all and to be enjoyed by many. The Buddhism photography event has something in store for everyone. And temple food is growing in popularity as it is natural with organic ingredients and low in salt, sugar, fat, and high on nutrients. Find out more about the boom on Korea Today, Tuesday, May 6th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good morning, you're watching Korea Today on a Tuesday morning. I'm Oh Jin-ju alongside Kim Jin-jung and Kim Young.
And today is Buddha's birthday. Now it's called 부처님 오신 날 in Korean. It literally means the day Buddha came to the world. It's celebrated on April 8th on the lunar calendar.
And many temples are lit with beautiful lanterns for Buddhists and non-Buddhists to enjoy.
Right, that's right. And on the 26th of last month, the annual Lotus Lantern Festival called Yeondeunghae in Korean was held to line it up the hearts of many. Now, Yeondeunghae was designated the Intangible Cultural Heritage number 122 by UNESCO in 2012. And since then, the festival has resembled more than just a Buddhist event, but an enjoyable festival for everyone around the world.
Yeondeunghae usually marks the highlight of a Buddha's birthday, but things were a little more solemn and muted this year in light of the Sewol ferry disaster. Our Kim Sung-hyun was there, and she joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, that's right. And the festival this year, like you said, didn't have a lot of the festive performances going on, the dancing, the singing, as it was being held at a time of sorrow and pain following the tragic accident of the Sewol ferry that has taken a toll on the nation. Now, lanterns of mourning were instead lit as a tribute to the victims of the disaster. And let's first take a look. Yeondeunghae, or the Lotus Lantern Festival to celebrate Buddha's birthday, kicked off on April 26th at the Dongguk University Stadium in Seoul. Usually they have what is called the Aullim Madang, or the Buddhist cheer rally, as the first event, but this year they held a Yeondeung Buddhist ceremony where some 20,000 Buddhists participated, along with representatives of 28 Buddhist denominations such as the Korean Buddhist Jogae Order and Cheontae Order. Instead of the annual joyful cheers, dancing, and singing, this year they had a time of remembrance to mourn the losses in the Sewol ferry tragedy. The participants wore yellow commemoration ribbon and held various fundraising activities as well.
In the midst of fear and inevitable pain, I wish for each and every precious life sacrificed in this tragedy to be brightened with a ray of hope.
At that hour, lantern-making events for foreigners began at the Korean Buddhist History and Culture Memorial Center. Some 400 foreigners who signed up for the event put together clusters of paper lotus leaves, making their own lotus lantern. And then they wrote their prayers onto wishing paper and stuck them onto the lanterns with sincerity, fully experiencing Korea's traditional Buddhist culture.
Well, basically what everyone writes. Everyone wants to have happiness and success in their lives. So that's what I wrote, and I wish for it.
I'm wishing for peace and happiness and all of the cliche things because they're actually pretty nice.
The Lotus Lantern Festival has become a symbolic cultural event for families to watch, experience, and enjoy. At 7 p.m., the lantern parade led by the baby Buddha opened on the streets of Dongdaemun in Seoul. The Yeondeunghae Festival has been celebrated for 1,300 years, dating back to the unified Silla dynasty. During the Goryeo dynasty, it became as important as a national event. The festival holds both sentiments of Han, or sorrow, and joy. At times of happiness, it was a festival of joy, and at times of sadness, it was a festival to comfort pain. And this year in particular, the Lantern Parade was held in a solemn atmosphere as a community came together to remember the victims of the ferry accident. People offered their prayers and took time to reflect upon the lives lost, as white lanterns were dedicated to those who fell to the tragic incident, and red lanterns to pray for the safe return of the still missing. Some 300 monks proceeded on in the parade, praying and lighting the path with white lanterns. There was no festive music or dances this time, but the blessings of Buddha still recited in the beautiful lantern parade. After the Yeondung ceremony, some 100,000 lanterns handmade from traditional Korean paper hanji filled the streets with colorful lights.
I think it's fantastic. I really like seeing all the colors and the beautiful lanterns, and and especially all the little children. They're very cute, and yes, and the big statues. I really like seeing that. Yeah.
It's very nice, very interesting. All people, I mean the same thing for this moment. That's very great. It's very nice. A lot of colors and emotion.
With some 50,000 participants from 80 different groups, Yeondunghwae this year was held under the theme of happiness through sharing and coming together. Many people, regardless of age or gender, came together in the event to share their prayers and thoughts. And foreigners who participated in the lantern-making events during the day were there as well.
Well, I feel really happy about joining the parade. It's just beautiful to see everyone to turn out. It's kind of mixed feelings because the parade is also, I've heard it's sort of to pay homage to the unfortunate accident that happened with the ferry. But it's very beautiful, and I'm just so happy to be here, and I feel very welcome.
It was really nice, really interesting, because during all the day as volunteers we helped people to make lanterns in Gyeonggido Temple. We did that kind of lanterns, so we feel more involved in that parade, even if we didn't take part in it. And now we are making this long alley of message of hope for all people who disappear in the ferry. So it's joyful and in another way really sad.
Yeondunghwae, to celebrate Buddha's 2,558th birthday, was held in a solemn mood this year, with many praying that the agony be shared and eased through the bright lantern lights, and for Buddha to have mercy on this world.
Now, those lanterns were just so beautiful. Now, this annual Lantern Festival, every year it has a theme, but what was so special about this year's parade?
Yes, Jinju, the Lantern Festival this year, although it was very solemn and grim, rather, due to the memorial ceremony that was going on in light of the ferry disaster, there were still various kinds of lanterns, like you said, all unique and special in its own way. In particular, they had the naturally dyed traditional Korean paper hanji made from spinach and gardenia seeds appearing for the first time this year. There were more of the LED lanterns that came about last year as well. Also, one of the most symbolic lanterns of the festival this year was the Miruksaji Temple lantern, with its cross piece being 2 meters wide and the height being 20 meters tall, so quite big, which took 5 months to create.
Wow.
Wow. I noticed there were a lot of foreigners and tourists at this year's parade, and this lantern parade and festival has been gaining more and more international attention, it looks like, especially since its designation as an intangible cultural heritage.
Yeah, absolutely. And not just that, on top of that, the Yeondunghwae Festival is also a candidate for the UNESCO Memory of the World. So attention keeps growing more and more on an international level. Now the Korea Tourism Organization is trying to improve the festival by providing special traditional cultural events as well that include various sites to watch and foods to eat. And another interesting thing this year is that global volunteers, or Yeondunghwae supporters they were called, helped out with preparations for the festival too. Now, some 100 of them volunteered to guide tourists as well as interpret or translate for the foreign tourists.
And Songyeon, it's a shame that we can't enjoy this Lantern Festival anymore because it's already over and we can't see those beautiful lanterns until next year?
Well, actually, Jinju, there are other ways to take a glimpse at these beautiful, exquisite lanterns that are very meticulously crafted. Starting on the 23rd of last month, in fact, exhibitions of traditional lanterns, they were being held held at various places such as Jogyesa Temple, Bongsa Temple, and the Cheonggyecheon Stream. The one being held at Cheonggyecheon, in fact, especially is a traditional lantern exhibition under the theme of Buddhism protects our country. It displays more than 50 unique traditional lanterns. Now, this exhibition is going on until tonight, in fact. So if you haven't been able to see some of these beautiful lanterns, you might want to head out tonight. And also up until May 11th, so this month 11th, there will be 55 lanterns lit on the grounds of Bongsa Temple. So please do check that out with your loved ones as well.
Bongsa is actually close to my house, so I should go there and
check it out.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Sung-hyun, for this story.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And as we just saw with the report with Kim Sung-hyun, Buddha's birthday is one of, if not the biggest Buddhist holiday in Korea, and also a national holiday at that, filled with beautiful festivals. Now, to tell us more on the significance of the celebrations, joining us in the studio is the Venerable Dae Bong, resident Zen master of Wawoojongsa International Temple. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, we saw the many beautiful lanterns out there, and one of the most beautiful things about this time are the lanterns that decorate the temples, right? And then people make these lanterns, they also hang it up and make a wish. What's the origin of this tradition, and also tell us the meaning behind this?
So, light represents the Buddha's mind and Buddha's teaching, and the lotus represents Buddhism, because the lotus flower blooms in the middle of mud and filth, and yet isn't tainted by it. So making a lotus lantern, putting them up, is reminding us that we all have that nature and that mind. And also realizing that that's the heart of the nature of the universe.
Well, one other thing that I'd like to point out is that there are a lot of East Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries that practice Buddhism, and there are many followers out there. Now, if there are a few things that are different, when you look visually, there's something physically and aesthetically different about Korean Buddhism. But other than that, what other unique characteristics are there about Korean Buddhism?
Buddhism always adapts to the culture that it becomes part of. And I think one of the core aspects of Korean culture is injung, the human relationship. Heaven, human, and earth. How do we make our correct relationship? And so that is infused Buddhist teaching in Korea. So perhaps the most important characteristic that's unique to Korean Buddhism is this wisdom of human relationships, and the emphasis on realizing the correct relationships with each other, between people, and with nature.
One of the unique programs that are offered here in Korea are the Temple Stay programs that began in 2002. So for about 12 years, it's been running, and it's actually had somewhere in the vicinity of about 1 million people sign up for it, both foreigners and also domestic people, Koreans alike, right? What do you think is the rising popularity, the reason behind the rising popularity of Temple Stay programs here in Korea?
Korean culture is really fascinating to people around the world now. And of course, everybody knows Gangnam. But if you go to Gangnam, every big city in the world has an area that looks like Gangnam. But one thing that's unique about Korean Buddhism is the temple culture and the temples. There's temples that have been here 1,000, 1,200, 1,700 years, and they're still a living part of society. In some other countries in Northeast Asia, the temples are more museums or tourist spots, but here they're actually a living part of daily life for many people. And also, temples teach that the purpose of human life is to realize our true nature and then become in harmony with all things. And so Westerners are really drawn to the environment and realize that this is actually the most important thing for humans to learn how to do, to realize who we really are in this universe and how to live in harmony with all things, with nature. And I think Westerners find that in the temples, and the temple culture in that sense is unique to Korea.
Now, Venerable Dae Bong, I'm pretty sure that you have done your part in religious, I would say, exchanges involving Korean Buddhism with other parts of the world. Now, as the world becomes closer because of course, SNS, they always say that, and internet, and people are more exposed to each other, I believe that religious exchanges, they occur more frequently now. Can you tell us about some of the religious exchanges that Korean Buddhism is involved in?
There are programs where Korean Buddhist monks and nuns and Catholic priests and sisters will travel together on pilgrimages, and they'll visit the religious spiritual sites of many different religions together. And in doing that, then sharing their experiences and realize that underneath all religions is the same basic teaching. I come from the United States, so I'm familiar with a lot of the Korean Buddhist temples in the United States. And in any city, the monks and nuns who live there will work together with the other religious leaders from other religions in that community to help bring attention to or support community efforts that are helping people. Attention to issues like education, violence against women and children, also helping to diffuse tensions that arise in communities. America's a very multi-ethnic country. So in that way, the Buddhist monks and nuns are working together with different religious leaders.
And that is something that you are striving towards to this very day?
Well, that's why I became a monk.
All right, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And that was Venerable Dae Bong, resident Zen master of the Wawoojongsa International Temple, joining us this morning.
호련히 생각하니 도심 홍주음이로다 전망고 형웅혹을 북망산 무덤이요 국외영아 쓸데없다 한평 개그이면 알소냐 고란하의 몸이 그 끝에 있으리요 사람 앞에 평구리라 상계 대사의 부처님이 경영이 이르시되 마음 깨쳐 성불하여 생사윤회 영단하고 불생 불멸처구토에 상나가 정무희도를
Now, that's a beautiful temple you just saw. There are about 900 traditional Buddhist temples here in Korea that are registered with the government, and each of them holds a significant meaning for many. Buddhists go there to hold prayers, while tourists go to enjoy the beautiful structures.
That's right, and among them are some very unique Buddhist temples that are attracting a lot of attention among visitors, and our reporter Kim Chan-ju went to one of them to check out some of those sites for us. Welcome, Chan-ju.
Good morning. As you mentioned, Buddhist temples in Korea do have various functions. It's a place to pray, and it's a tourist destination, and also an important cultural asset to the country. So I did go and see 2 temples in Korea that were very popular among foreigners. I was very curious why, so let's take a look.
A Buddhist temple in Gyeonggido Province, it is none other than Wawoojongsa Temple. Whether it's on weekdays or weekends, the place is frequently visited by foreigners. About 300,000 visitors came here last year, also drawing the highest number of foreign tourists among other temples in Korea.
This temple is beautiful and people are very welcoming to visitors.
Beautiful, nice. It's same Thailand.
I've always wanted to see the Buddhist sculpture that was registered in the Guinness Book of World Records, as well as the famous bronze Buddha head.
The main attraction of this temple is in their wide collection of Buddhist sculptures. The big Buddha head, or Buldu, placed at the entrance of the temple, stands at 3 meters tall, and it is expected to be a complete Buddha statue of 108 meters in the future. Among the statues, the one that receives the most attention is the wooden statue of the reclining Buddha.
This is the Wabul or reclining Buddha statue in Wawoojongsa Temple. As you can see, a massive size of 3 meters in height and 12 meters in length. The biggest wooden Buddhist sculpture of its kind was also registered in the Guinness Book of Records.
With a large number of foreign visitors, over 1,000 monks come to this temple every year.
We have many Buddha statues from around the world, such as those from Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and our collection has about 3,000 sculptures.
The reason why many monks from overseas are coming to this place is closely related to the temple's main purpose of establishment.
In 1970, I established Wawoojongsa Temple, wishing for the unification of the Korean peninsula as a person who came from the north. With our philosophy, many monks from abroad wanted to take part in promoting world peace.
Foreign monks coming to this temple write messages hoping for the peaceful unification on the Korean peninsula on the tiles.
With tiles written by foreign visitors wishing for the unification of Korea and world peace, a pagoda was built commemorating the 60th year of the Korean War Armistice Agreement last year. The second pagoda wishing for unification is scheduled to be built as well. We have a big range of some 3,000 Buddhist sculptures from around the world wishing for unification. When we reach 10,000 sculptures in this collection, a sanctuary will be established dedicated to world peace.
In Sogwangsa Temple, this place of prayer is quite unique. Usually in Korean temples, only one Buddha is enshrined in the main sanctuary. But in this temple, Buddhists from Myanmar covered expenses to bring a Buddha statue made in Myanmar. There's also a Buddha statue sent as a gift from the government of Sri Lanka to Sogwangsa Temple. A total of 3 Buddha statues are enshrined in one space, the first ever in a Buddhist temple to enshrine multiple Buddha statues at the main sanctuary.
Buddhists are all one regardless of their nationality. These Buddha statues were placed here to spread the message, "We are one," which coincides with Buddhist philosophy that all Buddha is one. Naturally, this gives an opportunity for those from Myanmar and Sri Lanka to come and pray, while it helps other migrant workers to settle down here.
Sogwangsa Temple was established under the Buddhist virtue of practicing the love of neighbors. The temple was deliberately built in an underdeveloped neighborhood where many migrant workers reside. Sogwangsa Temple has been giving continuous support for these migrant workers ever since its establishment. Win Mintu and Lewin from the Buddhist country Myanmar came to Korea in 1994. In a strange land, it was this temple that gave them the strength to continue on with their lives in Korea.
I came to Korea as a migrant worker, and I immediately immersed myself into prayer because I felt lonely. I think Sogwangsa Temple comforted me a lot.
I'm grateful to Sogwangsa Temple. They brought in a Buddhist statue from Myanmar, which makes me think of home, and I feel very much at ease.
Sogwangsa Temple hosts annual festivals that invite migrant workers and women, bringing the community closer. The temple is also a place for immigrants under difficult circumstances to rest, and they also provide homes for those in need.
I came to Korea to get married to my husband who was working here already. At the time, Sogwangsa offered a lot of financial support and helped us settle down in this country. Someday, we would like to return their favor.
We want to do more work to help immigrants settle down in Korea's multicultural society. Everyone can come here to make their home and seek comfort in this temple. Helping these communities should come from the heart, which I'd hope to see in our society.
So, Tenju, it was so impressive to see that some of these temples are providing support to migrant workers and providing them a place to stay. But what about other Buddhist temples around the nation? What are they doing to help the local community?
Well, Tenju, on a special day like this, all temples across the country are open all day to hold various festivals and events. And they also hold marketplaces as well, so to offer regional products in reasonable prices. And they're also very active in volunteer work because they do establish childcare facilities and welfare centers. These are all done in the name of practicing the Buddhism philosophy of loving and respecting your neighbors.
These temples are becoming a very important cultural assets to the country now, and I understand that the government is doing a lot to support them.
Absolutely. Currently, the government is pushing to develop temples in the country into a place where local community can enjoy cultural activities. Temple stay is actually one good example also. And when it comes to building new temples, or if the temple wants to create a space for citizens, or if it goes through a renovation, the government is planning to ease the building regulations for them. So experts expect that these temples evolving through times and then going through renovations and new constructions could contribute in vitalizing local economy.
Now there's Bongeunsat near your house, there's Gilsangsat near my house, which is one of the biggest temples here in the country. I'm very proud of my neighborhood. It's a really popular temple, and it offers a great temple stay program as well. Thank you, Chanju, for this story.
My pleasure.
And still to come on Korea Today, it may be Buddha's birthday today, but people from different religions are coming together to celebrate. Korea is a multi-religious country with some 50 different faiths. We take a look at how they coexist and what efforts are being made to promote mutual understanding. Stay tuned.
And for the past few weeks, many events have been taking place around the nation to celebrate Buddha's birthday. And our Im Yoon-hee would definitely have to come in here for our arts and culture segment to introduce some exhibitions that have something to do with Buddha's birthday. Good morning.
Right, good morning, Young. So, celebrating Buddha's birth isn't only limited to those who follow Buddhism anymore. Families really tend to look forward to this time of the year because of the parades and the festivals, some of which we saw earlier in the show. So today I have a few exhibitions that are centered around Buddhism, but I think many people will enjoy. Let's take a look.
Buddhism is a commonly found religion in Asia. Many follow after the teachings of Buddhism in search for enlightenment and the sublime state of nirvana. And all of these teachings are based on a man from 5th century BCE who went by the name of Siddhartha Gautama, but he's known to many as Buddha. And every year, millions of people from all over the world celebrate his birth through various different events, including a photography exhibition.
The Buddhism photography event is about taking pictures regarding Buddhism. We have an event every month, and this month's theme is the wind chime. They're often hung on the roofs of temples, so we visited various temples to take these pictures.
Whether it be on the mysterious mountainsides or the glistening shores, the wind chime has long been seen as a means of achieving harmony within the mind and the soul. Soft resonating sounds from the chimes are believed to bring a sense of peace and well-being, and were often hung around Buddhist temples for decades throughout the history of Asia. The wind chime seen hanging around Korea often feature a fish, wiggling peacefully through the air.
As the wind blows, if you extend the exposure, you can capture the movement. This piece is called Can You Hear the Wind Chime? The fish represents the pursuit of nirvana in Buddhism, because a fish never rests and is always moving around like the wind chime in the wind.
Sometimes they lay silent, hanging from the roofs of snow-laden temples, but sometimes they send soft chimes through the air. Wherever they are, they symbolize the peace and well-being of the body, mind, and soul.
Right, some beautiful photographs there. But Uni, you said that to me earlier that you have a few other exhibitions that you'd like to share with me on the program.
So quite a bit of artwork is associated with Buddhism. And so here at the Tapkol Museum in Seoul, they have a exhibition featuring paintings centered around Buddhism, and some of them date back all the way to the 1700s.
And this is something that you can participate in as well by painting your own Buddhism-inspired work.
Exactly. So they are also encouraging people to take part and paint their own versions, being inspired by the beauty of Buddhism. And so they're actually even encouraging children to participate and paint their own works of art.
When it comes to Buddhist works of art or art that has something to do with Buddhism, there are a lot of museums that already have permanent displays of Buddhism that's there already, right?
Right. So the Chuncheon National Museum, they have a permanent display set up on Buddhism and some works from there. It's actually located in the Gyeonggido Province region, and some of the temples there are very well known. It's actually said that some of the Buddhism beliefs come from the mountains there, the beautiful mountains located there. So the museum features some beautiful works from the temples there.
Okay, and these are on permanent display. They've always been there year-round pretty much. But are there any specific works of art that points out Buddha's birthday or the birth of Buddha?
Right, so they're currently hosting an exhibition titled The Hand of Buddha, and it features a symbolic gesture that Buddha is often seen portraying, and this is called the mudras, and it is going to be seen with the works there that they're offering at the exhibition there. And so, you know, many Buddha statues you will see this symbolic hand gesture that he does pose, and so if you go to the museum, you can see a little bit more of it and the artwork behind it as well as the story behind it as well. So,
All right, sounds like a great chance for people to get a first-hand look at some Buddhist pieces.
Right, exactly.
All right, thank you very much, Uni, for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
And still ahead on Korea Today, from art pieces that relate to Buddhism, food, temple food to be exact. Eating temple food is a practice not simply following Buddhist values and beliefs, but also an increasingly attractive option for healthy eating. We sit down and talk about the benefits and look at how more people are seeking out this cuisine.
Time now for news. Some of the best way for ordinary people or non-Buddhists to experience Buddhist practices is temple stay programs.
That's right. Many are looking at these programs as a way to break away from their busy schedules and the hustle and bustle of everyday life and regain composure. We can certainly use that.
Yes.
Let's go over to our Seo Misorang for more. Good morning, Misorang.
Good morning. In preparation for Buddha's birthday today, a lot of people were looking up online things to do and places to visit on this meaningful holiday. If you've ever wondered what it's like to live in a Buddhist temple as a practitioner, then temple stay is your answer. Let's take a look. Temple stay is a cultural program that allows you to stay in a temple for a couple of days or even up to weeks at a time and experience its various daily activities such as chanting services, meditation and prostrations. But if you would rather sit back and unwind, then you can choose the relaxation type of temple stay and simply take in the beautiful scenery around you. You don't have to practice Buddhism to take part. All you need is an open mind and the willingness to learn. Now, there are 120 temples in Korea that offer these programs. Today, I'm going to show you 2 of 16 that offer programs specifically designed for foreign nationals. So let's get started. The first is the Gyeonggido Temple located in Gyeonggido Province. Its name literally means the Golden Mountain Temple, and it was founded around 600 AD by the Baekje Kingdom. It has since expanded in size to currently become one of the largest temples in Korea, running a very well-organized temple stay. You can choose between a 1-night 2-day or a 3-night 4-day program consisting of wild tea ceremony, bell meditation, and paru gongyang, or formal monastic meal. You even have the chance to talk to a monk and ask him questions on issues that you may be dealing with. Now, while you're there, make sure to check the various pagodas and structures around you because the Gyeonggido Temple is home to 11 national treasures. Now, if you're looking for something more modern and closer to the capital, then the next place is right up your alley. Let's have a look. The International Sun Center, located in the heart of Seoul, opened its doors in 2010 as a Son Meditation and Buddhist Propagation Training Center. So while you won't find old relics or national treasures here, you can partake in temple cuisine cooking classes, Son meditation, and Buddhist culture seminars in a contemporary environment stretching 10 levels. English speakers will appreciate the bilingual guide, providing Korean English translation if required, as well as a Buddhist youth group and Dharma talks that are provided in English. That's it for this edition of New Summer. Everyone have a great day. I'll be back with more tomorrow.
It is May 6th, Tuesday, and you are watching Korea Today on Buddha's birthday.
It's a big celebration for Buddhists, but believers of other religions are also participating in a spirit of mutual respect and understanding.
Right, and our Eunice Kim has more on efforts that are being made to bring down the walls between different religions. Good morning, Eunice.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, as an example of that spirit of mutual respect, on the 25th of last month, Archbishop Kim Hee-jung, who is a council member for religious dialogue at the Vatican, joined in on celebrations for Buddha's birthday at Sogwangsa Temple with some 20 other priests in the country. Let's take you there. On the 25th of last month, Archbishop Kim Hee-jung visited Sogwangsa Temple to pass on his message of congratulations from the Vatican ahead of Buddha's birthday. After arriving at the temple, he met with head monk Venerable Ji-un and headed to the main sanctuary to pay his respects to those who lost their lives in the Sewol-ho ferry disaster, as well as praying for the return of the missing with a white chrysanthemum and a yellow rose. Following this, he passed on his message from the Vatican's Council on Religious Dialogue in time for Buddha's birthday. Also, there was Chief Priest Venerable Seol-jung, who spoke on the role of religion during difficult times such as the ferry disaster.
I thought to myself that it would be almost impossible for those people to get through if people of religion do not reach out and try to embrace their suffering and pain.
Pope Francis's message, emphasizing the importance of following Buddhist teachings and sharing religious values, was also delivered.
The Pope said sharing values such as mercy, friendship, harmony, and brotherhood are all necessary to bring about world peace.
Venerable Seol-jung presented the Archbishop with his personal calligraphy and scriptures to return the spirit of gratitude. The meeting was a meaningful experience for not only the visiting Archbishop, but also those at the temple, where they were able to share the spirit of harmony.
And it looked like a very meaningful time. The Honorable Dae Bong was also telling us about some of the religious exchanges as well.
Indeed.
But what are some of the other activities that they have to share and to exchange religious activities and religion?
I think you're on the right track there. Young religious leaders are exchanging congratulations on respective special holidays. Last Christmas, for example, the Venerable Pom-yun visited a Catholic church to deliver a special Christmas message. This as Jogesa Temple carried out a Christmas tree lighting ceremony to mark Christ's birth. And a year before that, on Buddha's birthday, Catholics, Protestants, and also one Buddhist came together to volunteer in sharing noodles as well as carrying out other events.
It makes you feel good when you see these people with different values come together and share thoughts. But
absolutely,
bringing different religions together is easier said than done oftentimes, and holding meetings just isn't enough.
Right. The spirit of understanding, of course, needs to extend to the followers as well. And so for Buddha's birthday, we joined in on an event this year put together for people to experience each other's beliefs. Let's take a look. To celebrate Buddha's birthday, the United Religions Initiative of Korea held a special cultural religion camp for multicultural families.
We are holding this event so that multicultural families can find comfort in the many different religions in Korea and have a better understanding of them.
Participating families set out on the trip excited to get away from the daily routine.
My wife is from Thailand, so she's Buddhist. And I'm here because they said we can visit a temple as well as an Anglican church. So I'm excited about it.
The religious culture camp sounds fun, and you can also learn about Korea's religions, so that's why I'm taking part.
The place they soon arrived at was the Anglican Church of Korea in Gyeonggido Island, as part of their program of experiencing different religions. The structure is the oldest standing traditional Hanok church, boasting a century-old history. It almost looks like a Buddhist temple or a traditional Korean home. Because of this unique exterior, families headed inside more curious about how the building looks like from the inside.
저희는 천주교는 아니고요. 저희는 영국에서 건너온 성공회라고 이야기합니다. 교회 안에도 있어서
After hearing from the Anglican Church priest about the Gangwon Church, everyone prayed together, wrapping up their journey there.
What we are sharing here is not just from the Anglican Church, but to help people embrace different cultures and share it with the multicultural families.
I am a Buddhist, and it's fun to learn about other cultures, and I find it fascinating to be in a church.
The next place they stopped by at is Cheondeungsa Temple. Here, many of Korea's treasures, such as Daeungjeon Hall, Yakshijeon, and the Bomjeong Buddhist bell are kept, making it more special. And in time for this special day, the temple was decorated with many wish messages and colored lanterns of 5 colors, dotting the temple grounds. The Buddhist monks greeting the families shared stories about their beliefs and the Cheondeungsa temple itself, helping them further understand what Buddhism is about.
부처님 오신 날에는 이렇게 등을 펴니다. 등. 여기다가 물을 이렇게 부어요. 여기 부처님 목욕을 시켜줘요. 그걸 관욕이라고 해요. 관욕.
After this, participants shared a moment in prayer, following a signal from a bamboo stick.
People can have different religions. Rather than simply thinking your own religion is better, it's important to understand and get to know each other. So I hope there are more opportunities like this.
Throughout the camp, cultural programs were also carried out, providing more opportunities for children from multicultural families.
My wife goes to church, but going to both of temple and church, I think it's important that all religions share the belief in loving one another.
Korea is a multi-religious country where people from many different beliefs share their ideas and values to create a platform for mutual understanding and peaceful coexistence.
So, Eunice, the United Religions Initiative of Korea is the group that hosted this event. Can you tell us more about what they do?
You bet. They're also called URI Korea, and they're the Korean arm of a global grassroots movement that aims to promote enduring daily interfaith cooperation in an effort to end religiously motivated violence. And to this end, they host annual events like youth camps, for instance, bringing students from all over the world together for a message in peace and justice. There are also religious peace pilgrimages where people can visit various religious sites to come to a better understanding of one another.
Really use such efforts because Korea is a multi-religious country. We can think of Catholicism, Christianity, and Buddhism, just to name a few.
And in fact, Korea has 50 different religions and about 600 denominations represented. So a lot of different perspectives there. And these kinds of events are important in achieving religious harmony and resolving any potential conflicts between, of course, the different sides.
All right, thank you very much, Eunice. It seems that understanding one another and also respecting each other's faiths as well as beliefs is very important. Thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
All right, we have your sports coming up with S.J. Lee.
Now, May is considered Family Month here in the nation, and many family members do get together for gatherings. So today, to celebrate Family Month, we'll take a look at some athletes and their family members who were or are involved in the same sport. And of course, our first family members is Texas Ranger slugger Chu Shin-soo, who's been making the headlines as of late with his recent success in the majors. After signing a 7-year, $130 million deal, he became one of the highest paid players in the league. But his uncle, Park Jung-tae, was quite a legend himself with the Lotte Giants in the 90s, even winning the Golden Glove Award as a second baseman. He also went on to coach the recent WBC team and showed that they're both the pride of the city of Busan. Now, if there's a nephew-uncle duel in baseball, there are two brothers in the KBL who have been making the headlines as of late as well. And they are Moon Tae-jong and Moon Tae-young, a.k.a. Jared Stevenson and Gregory Stevenson. Now, the two half-Korean brothers are considered two of the best players in the league, and in the past season, they proved that as they faced off in the 2013-2014 KBL Championship, when the LG Sakers faced off against the Ulsan Mobis Phoebus. And while Moon Tae-young, the younger brother, won the championship MVP after Mobis claimed the title, his older brother Moon Tae-jong was named the league MVP after leading his team to their first league title this season. So sometimes rivalry between brothers can be a good thing. And finally, when we talk about a father-son duo in the sporting world here in the nation, most people would agree that it's Cha Bum-gun and Cha Do-ri. Now, when we talk about South Korean footballers, many would say that along with Park Ji-sung, Cha Bum-gun is one of the greatest footballers to come out of Korea. And not only was he successful on the national team, his success in Germany also backs it up. And when the then young Cha Do-ri made his appearance with the national team during the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup, his speed and appearance was exactly like his father. Although Cha Do-ri didn't score as many goals as his father did, he was known for his passion for the sport, just like his father. Well, those are some of the few of the many families in sports, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be a lot more in the future. Now, enjoy your time with your family this month, and this has been SJ. See you guys again for your sports needs.
There has been growing interest in temple food. Maybe it's because people are choosing a simpler lifestyle that they want, a lifestyle filled with good food. We're talking about interest in natural foods, organic ingredients. Temple food has all that. It's low in fat, sodium, all the bad stuff, salt, sugar, you name it, but it's high on nutrients. And we'll take a look at what exactly temple food is, a closer look at it.
Temple food refers to all dishes people eat when practicing Buddhism at temples. It's not simply a food to eat, but an extension of the practice of the religion. It's also considered the key to good health for Buddhist monks. The most noticeable characteristic of temple food is that it's made up of various fruits and vegetables. Most temples in the country sit in the folds of the mountains, and the many greens that grow in nature are used as ingredients.
Vegetables have protein, and beans or pyogo mushrooms include all the essential nutrients we need. These vegetables help remove the toxins from the body and give the body extra energy, so that's why temple food makes you healthy.
Temple food does not use artificial flavors or spices, and the amount of salt use is minimal, keeping the taste simple and mild. Also, meals are consumed in small portions at a slower pace. Dinner is especially simple with one main dish and 3 side dishes. In general, it is a low-calorie dish, but it's still abundant in nutrients. This temple food comes with proven health benefits. According to research, consumption of it has brought down body fat levels to about 24% from over 27%, along with reduced cholesterol figures. With the growing interest in health, there are more restaurants that specialize in this cuisine. Without going to an actual temple, people can still enjoy many different dishes.
My health isn't at its best these days, so I wasn't sure what to do. But I heard temple food can make you healthier, so that's why I'm here.
I've heard that temple food is good for your health, so that's why I am at this restaurant.
Here, not only can you enjoy the food, you can learn about the values behind it and how to enjoy the cuisine in a healthier way.
Even though you're using the same vegetables, the cooking methods are all different, and what temperature as well as what speed you eat it at is also important. So I thought it would be nice for people to learn how to make the best of what they eat through this program.
It's a slow food that comes with added health benefits. Temple food continues to gain more popularity as a way to feed the body and soul.
And to tell us more, we're joined by Venerable Ji-Jung, professor at the International School of Buddhist Studies of Jogye Order, and Dr. Lee Seung-min, resident at Gyeonggi University Medical Center. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Now, we have several food items right here in front of us. And can you tell us what goes in this? What are the ingredients?
Oh, ingredients. Well, I think we have rice. It's mixed grain rice, steamed with lotus leaves. So it has the flavor of lotus.
So if you open this, you see the rice inside. Wow, it looks so good.
It also has, I think, glutenated rice they used.
Yeah, it's all sticking together right now.
And
wow.
Zinko and bibichu and other grains.
All right. For example, this dumpling, this mandu that we see, there's no meat that goes in it, right?
No, that's vegetable dumpling.
So it's all vegetables that are in here.
Temple food is quite unique in that it doesn't use certain spices like garlic and spring onions and onions. Tell us about why that is.
Well, we call those pungent vegetables because it has very spicy taste and strong flavor. And those spicy and strong flavor tend to make our mind more stimulated, whereas practitioners need more calm and focused mind.
And Dr. Lee, would you agree with this?
Yeah, I would. To further explain what she just said, the 5 pungent ingredients, onion, green onion, chives, leek, and garlic.
I love those.
Yeah, they do produce hormones that energize and activate your body, and they excite your mind. In traditional Korean medical jargon, we say that they have a lot of yang energy and a lot of heat energy. And in short, they're a very good stamina booster. So if you have a very sedentary lifestyle, if you have a very abstinent lifestyle, you would want to avoid it in your diet.
Okay. And temple food also does not include meat. And then where do we get the protein or the healthy fat that we need? Can we maintain a balanced diet?
Oh, well, yes. I mean, no, we don't take any meat. So to supplement the protein, animal protein, we take a lot of bean products.
Beans.
Right, so like tofu and soybeans that we use a lot, and also the Korean traditional sauce
that's
made
tugu
with
and
soybean paste, right? So those things that we take to supplement the protein. And
is that enough,
also
doctor?
Nuts that we take a lot.
Yeah, that is a very common misconception that you can't get enough fat or protein through without animal products. You can get them through nuts. As she said, cashew nuts, pine nuts, walnuts, they're sufficient in fat. And they are fat that are better than animal fat. They reduce your cholesterol, they reduce your risks of getting diabetes or cardiovascular diseases. And you could also get enough protein through soy, red beans, black beans, quinoa also has a lot, and that is just a misconception.
And it's not saturated fat, those
right,
things, right?
So it's better for your blood vessels and your heart.
That's right.
I've also seen soybeans and soy products that were kind of processed in a way to really imitate
like
beef. It almost tasted like
soy
beef.
protein.
Right. I was really amazed to actually taste some of that.
We can even make a food that look like meat.
For those meat lovers.
Well, I can't live without meat right now, but I will try that. Now, when we bring out food in the temple foods as well as in the Buddhist lifestyle and the Buddhist monk lifestyle, you're not supposed to eat that much. I mean, so how much portion are you actually supposed to eat? I mean, would this be a regular portion for a nice lunch or a breakfast?
Right. Soshik is a big part of Buddhist
That's a big portion.
Oh, really?
We probably will take half of the rice here and probably finish with half of each. So that's a lot.
So soshik is eating small amounts. Is that just taking exactly enough so you are not hungry, or what is how do you know?
Because you're not supposed to leave anything behind.
Right. So soshik means not to have excessive amount of food that you feel full in your stomach.
Do not overindulge.
Right. That's the point. Don't carried away with your desire for delicious food, you know. So this is to control your mind. Also, this is part of our practice. So even when we have a meal, we be more mindful not to excessively take food that you feel so tasty. So it's controlling your appetite and at the same time controlling your desire.
Right, and a lot of people nowadays are turning to healthier options, and some of them are turning to temple food.
Right.
So what are the things, if there is any, are the things that they should watch out when they seek out temple food?
Not to make too stimulating food, like not too salty or too sour or too sweet, too spicy. We avoid all that strong flavored food. So in a way, maybe our food is a little bit plain in flavor wise, but we also use natural flavor from the ingredients. So we do have a lot of good flavor in our food.
Well, let's get our final seal of approval from our doctor.
I just want to say that if you're sufficiently knowledgeable of all the nutrients in the food and you know how to balance it all out, there's really not much problem of going totally vegetarian. But you do have to know that if you're a very physically active person, or if you're pregnant, or if you need more nutrition than anybody else for whatever reason, you need to tailor your temple food diet so that it suits your lifestyle and just don't hastily follow anybody else besides you. Other than that, it looks very healthy.
Well, thank you to both of you for coming out and talking to us this morning, and happy Buddha's birthday today.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
All right, well, that just about does it for this edition of Korea Today.
And thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.